Every home has a unique story to tell. A story of what was before and what came after. And the story from B to A is the most exciting one of all. We're about to see if these architects, builders and owners can transform these home dreams into reality. This is Before and After. Going green and having a high level of sustainability is so important in residential construction today. You're about to see one of the greenest houses going around, and it's only 20 minutes from Melbourne CBD.
We follow the build of this sustainable house built over the top of a creek that constantly floods. The house is aiming for a massive 10-star energy rating, and it's up to these guys to get it right. They'll need every ounce of their experience to pull this off, and it will take them right to the edge. We're in Blackburn, an eastern suburb about 17 kilometres from the Melbourne CBD. Despite being close to the city, Blackburn sits within some significant bushland areas. This provides plenty of secluded little sites, just like this block. To take advantage of this beautiful natural site and treat it with the care it deserves, a special kind of builder is needed. Anton from Calm Living Homes is an award-winning builder with plenty of green experience. I mean, check out his own home. This home has no power costs, captures all his own water, has a complete electronic energy saving system and a rooftop garden. All on a block with 20 degrees of elevation. And this site comes with its own set of challenges as well. Tom meets Anton on site.
Anton, nice to meet you, mate. Looking at the plans on paper here, you have quite the undertaking with this project.
Yeah, no, welcome to Blackburn, Tom. This is our new green project we're about to start.
Is it too optimistic to ask right now how long you think it'll take from start to completion?
Oh, look, we're estimating around about 8 months, but you know, we always get the odd thing here. This project's taken a long time to get to this point.
A long time indeed. With a creek running through this site, there were a few hoops to jump through. Peter, the designer of the house, explains.
One of the things with a site like this is when you're dealing with overlays and you're dealing with different authorities, there are a lot of complexities. And so you need to allow time. And this particular project has taken far longer than we would have ever expected, partly because we had to satisfy the local council requirements and all their overlays. But then we also had to satisfy Melbourne Water and other authorities, which meant that trying to get everyone to agree on the one thing has been very, very difficult and very, very drawn out. The house that was here was a 1950s flat roof house, very, very modern for its time. Big plate glass windows. Again, the person that had designed it had really taken into account the situation here in this bush setting and on the edge of the creek. So it was quite a modern house for its time, but unfortunately it hadn't been well built and it had been quite neglected over the years and was ready for demolition. It was originally thought that we might try to renovate it, but it was clearly not up to standards, and so the decision was made in actual fact to demolish and build from new.
One of the key features of the new house will be its relationship with the surrounding environment. The way this design responds to the creek is especially dramatic.
To give you an idea, the old house used to sit sort of here, that way, and then boomerang around that corner, which the new one also does, and the floor level's up at this level. In a normal heavy rain situation, basically the creek fills. But in a 100-year scenario, it'll come up to about this level, which will be about 1 metre below the floor level of the house.
This is not about just building the house. This is about why we're building the house and what created the house, the history of all that, the excitement of all that, so people become attached. Because you can see it's a beautiful site. It's not a beautiful site. So you can imagine what we're going to create with it, because Peter is a very talented man and I've obviously got experiences as well. And together we're going to evolve the projects. He's already done a lot of preliminary evolutionary in the process, but now we're going to really evolve it, because Peter's skills and my skills, together we're going to put them together, and then all the tradies and all the people that come on, they'll all add to it and end up with an amazing house with an amazing story.
After the break, the build gets underway, but there's a major emergency.
Just as we started the construction, unfortunately the builder Anton had a heart attack.
We're in Blackburn, about 17 kilometres east of the Melbourne CBD, to follow the build of this sustainable house in a beautiful bush setting. The house is being built overlooking a creek and designed to float above the water in the event of a flood. Needless to say, the foundations were very important to get right.
We've got the footings in, we've got the base brickwork or blockwork in, and we've now got the floor going in. We're actually using smart beams, which are a laminated beam. And so they're a green product, very green product, which goes with the concept of this house. You'll also notice that we're actually using steel for the posts, for the stumps for under the floor level. This is because we're in a flood zone here and we're fairly high off the ground. And so we use the steel so that it's at less impact on the actual environment. So we don't have problems when the creek floods because it's a free flow area under the floor.
Looks like great progress so far, but there was one major emergency.
Just as we started the construction, unfortunately the builder Anton had a heart attack and ended up having to go into hospital for bypass surgery.
I'm the guy that you hear the story about. I'm the fit guy that didn't smoke, didn't drink, 35 years of martial arts, and they sliced me open and put in 4 new coronary arteries because the others had collapsed. It's just a pure genetic thing. It's bad luck, but it's also good luck because I now have a turbocharger in my heart, and those that know me are quite scared because before I used to go crazy, now I'm going to go mad.
I have to say it was a shock when I got the phone call to say that he had the heart attack, but he's recovering really well.
So life's good, I'm here. I'm 6 foot up, not 6 foot down, so life's good, no complaints. I'm very excited because I get to enjoy this fantastic project with my very good friend Peter.
Fortunately, the operation has gone really, really well, and Anton, being the type of person he is, he's really pushed on hard to make sure he's rehabilitating as quickly as possible and getting back into it, and so he's already back on the job about 3 weeks after his operation.
Anton's health scare did delay the build a couple of weeks, but the team pushed on while he was recovering. Now he's back, it's full steam ahead again. Anton's excitement about the project is as high as ever.
When you're in certain parts of the house, the elements of the creek will become like a painting, and hence is that we've got big windows over here, and these windows here you'll actually look out, and you'll be looking out over the other direction here where the ferns and that are, to actually show that it's like a big picture, and then that way that you're basically bringing the garden into the house and starting to enjoy some of this beauty of the creek, which is very rare, and someone's very fortunate that's going to actually live here one day, and they'll reflect back to this moment and say, wow, I see exactly what he means. I'm looking out the window and there's birds flapping around and there's ducks on the water, and you're basically going to feel like you're living in the country.
A few months later, and the vision is starting to materialise.
We've been nutting out the frame. It's been quite a complex little build because we wanted something that was unique here to go, working with the sustainability aspect of it. And we've had a few issues along the way to solve, but we're happy now. The results are really good, and we're just starting to put the roof on. We're using a nice ColourBond roof, and it's going to look fantastic.
The roof was one of the most difficult aspects to get right.
It's a 40-degree angle where the house has an intersection, so it makes everything complicated with all that roof making it look right.
The windows too will be crucial in not only the aesthetics, but also the sustainability of the house.
At this stage, it's really exciting to see things like the windows starting to go in. On this site, we're using Stegbar sideline, which are a double glazed unit, but they're also a timber window, a cedar window, which is beautiful from the inside, but they're clad with aluminium on the outside, which means they're low maintenance. And low maintenance for us is important on this site because to get access later with a creek running around one side of it will be very, very difficult. For me, one of the most exciting stages is when you start to see the claddings go on, the brickwork go up, and in this case the stonework, because that's when it turns from just a skeleton to it actually starts to take form and shape.
Yeah, it's going to look fantastic from the street. It's kind of got overviews from modern contemporary sort of style, and it's been designed to really blend in with the native gardens, and modern contemporary always kind of goes well in that sort of style. We get into that stage now where you can start to see things developing. And also the ducks have moved in as well, so it's good.
After the break, we could reveal the finished home and the results are amazing. After many years in the planning and months in the build, through health scares, comebacks and many hours of hard work, the reveal day is finally here. Tom meets Anton for a tour of this finished home.
Anton, congratulations. It's a wonderful home. It's like walking into a tree house, a very native environment here in Blackburn, a bit of a step away from the usual.
Yeah, it's very unusual. I was very excited, obviously, when got the opportunity to work on this project, always knowing that one day that we'd be able to stand here together, and appreciate Peter's dream, which he transpired, and I was excited to become part of it. So now seeing it all into play, it's fantastic, and couldn't be happier with the result.
One of those passion things that you love dearly is the green aspects of construction. Are you happy with the way everything's unfolded?
Oh, more than so, because Peter's done a really good job on all the landscape design, tying the building into the landscape. I think it's important to live with nature feel like you become part of it rather than a separate entity. So you really do live within the garden here, the garden at all aspects, as you can see, and so the whole environmental message kind of gets delivered automatically. So we've then also gone and thought about all the aspects being in the construction. So we really are standing in a beautiful, green, stunning, sustainable house.
One thing that stands out is the use of materials. I like the slate. It definitely gives it a sort of a ski chalet feel to it.
Yeah. Well, that's where we thought was important, was when Pete was doing the design, he really wanted to integrate natural materials so they're less likely to be trendy in the future, like having bright orange kitchen splashbacks and all that. We kept all the colour tones all neutral so that it really did blend into that environment by using all the hard landscaping, all the rock and everything that tied in with the slate. So that again ties the natural landscape into the actual building.
And one of the key features in not only creating the visual aspect of being one with nature, but also playing a huge part in the sustainability of the house were the windows.
The fact that it's in such a beautiful spot, it actually frames the outside environment really well. It almost works as a picture frame, if you will. To me, I think it complements not only the design, but also the environment behind it. Within the Stegbar range, we actually saw a bit of a gap with regards to the ability to produce or to take to market something that's different. It's aluminium cladding on the outside and timber on the inside. So the advantage of that is that it gives you great thermal properties all year round. Combined with double glazing, gives you very low U values, which is key in achieving high energy efficiency. It has a strength of aluminium on the outside and the ease as far as less maintenance. And of course on the inside it has timber, so it gives the homeowner the warmth of timber and the flexibility of having a different colour as well if they wanted to. Being that Cyclone is a very high energy efficient product, we certainly lean towards the fact that it's very user friendly for sustainability projects such as this.
It's a bit of a tricky block, isn't it? Because it's not your standard sort of rectangle or your standard square metre block. You've had to sort of position the house in a very unique way.
Everything that was a hindrance actually become an asset, and so everything that was a negative has now been turned into a positive, and because of that it's really got that uniqueness. And when you actually are outside and you go, and I'll show you later on, that the flood plane, when it comes up, comes right up to the underneath the house. So the house looks like it's actually floating on its own little island. So there's all this uniqueness that now become the strengths and the features of the house. It's an amazing project, and I hope it inspires people to start doing green, because green became very trendy for a while, but we need to no longer make it trendy and make it part of our mission, is to actually start to care about our building stock and how we deliver it, and then hopefully becomes timeless like this house will be.
After the break, we explore the rest of this amazing home, and we'll head outside to see how this house will float above the flooding creek. We continue our tour of this beautiful and sustainable house here in Blackburn, Melbourne.
Anton, talk us through the layout of the home.
When you walk into the front area there, through the front door, you actually arrive at a destination that's like wow, and it automatically makes you feel that you're part of the whole inside-outside theme, because it's got the rock next to you on the wall, got all the beautiful timbers when you arrive, you're looking out into the creek area, and then you've got this beautiful sitting area at the front there, where it's got a Heatmaster fireplace, which is actually a real timber fireplace. And basically then you come through into the kitchen area here, and that keeps us connected to the down. It's like a living area, because this is the feature out here, the creek, so we wanted to keep all the main living areas downstairs to stay connected to that whole inside-outside sort of feel.
Lovely.
And we do have also the master suite down here as well, because that's a very important room for the owners of the home, because they get the best room in the house, and then obviously upstairs the children get designated up to the upstairs and they have their own retreat.
It's a house for all seasons as well. You've got a lovely sitting area outside.
Yeah, I think the alfresco in my world is probably the best part of the house, because you can actually sit out there and you can feel all the fresh air coming from the whole trees. You get connected to the wildlife, and you can actually hear the water going past the creek. So people actually pay to have water features. We don't have to pay for this water feature. It's a constant water feature.
Of course, it hasn't been an easy road. How's your health?
Yeah, look, I can't complain. I'm alive. I'm not 6 foot down. I'm 6 foot up, which is good. And my scars are healing, both on the outside and on the inside. But it's been a big journey. But I'm glad to be standing here today with you, enjoying such an amazing thing. And it was certainly worth the struggles, because lucky I had patient clients that allowed me to heal and get well, and be able to stand here today, having it all finished. It was worth all that suffering. So yeah, no, it was good. But I'm healthy now, and it's great. So yeah, no, life's good.
Well, Peter, this is something really sensational. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it.
Yeah, look, it is. It's a very special location, and that's why the clients wanted a really special home and were prepared to pay for it, because to build something like this in this space is not easy. We also wanted to make sure that it really took advantage that the house drew the outside in, and that when you were outside you actually could really enjoy the architecture of the house.
It's a big undertaking, and I believe that the whole development process was far more longer than what you expected.
Yeah, a lot longer. From when we first looked at the property and bought it, and then put the town planning in, to now has been 8 years.
Goodness me.
Long time, and the build's only been 12 months, so
Right.
It was all town planning, Melbourne Water, all those sorts of things.
Did everyone have like long hair and stuff and beards before you started? Fellas, talk us through the sustainable features of the home.
Well, look, sustainability to me is really, really important, and one of the reasons Anton is the builder is because he's actually won awards for that. And when I first set out to build this house, I wanted to make sure that, and my client is very green, they wanted to make sure that it was a green house, but it was sustainable. So we've used sustainable products, whether it be the floor joists or whether it be the timber we've used inside, we've used sustainable products throughout. Another thing that's really important is the airtightness of the building. So we've made sure that it's been really well wrapped up so that it doesn't leak air. So it doesn't leak air in, doesn't leak air out. This is a big part of a sustainable home. Also, the finishes that we've used water-based floor finishes, so we don't have to worry about chemicals coming out of it. And there's a whole lot of things like that where Anton was able to bring also his expertise in and really help to make sure that we've ended up with a very sustainable, not just a green home, but a very sustainable home.
Well, gents, congratulations. 8 years in the making. It truly is a prized home and hitting every green aspect imaginable.
Yeah, look, it's really great to see the end result. This is a floodplain, of course, and the house sits lightly on it, being on the steel posts. It allows the creek to flood under it. And that's a big part of sustainability, is not impacting the environment you're going into too much.
So important. Anton, are you looking forward to the award ceremonies, mate, for Best House?
Well, with all the efforts of my team, myself and Pete, we can only hope that all that becomes a great reward. But if we don't win an award, we've already won an award because people get to enjoy this, someone gets to enjoy this beautiful home one day, and that makes us all very proud.
Well, there you have it. To design and build on this complex site certainly was a challenge, and one that called on the team's years of experience. They put literally their hearts and souls into this project, and the results are nothing short of spectacular. Sustainability in residential building is crucial for the health of our planet, and the factors to achieve this are many. But one of the most important end results is to create something that will stand the test of time and be here for generations to come. And this home will do just that.